Greetings of the day. This is Dr. Sujata Magdu, Assistant Professor in Zoology, Department of Zoology, KTHM College, Nashik. I'll be dealing with the subject Immunology for MSc Part 2, Semester 3. And in that, today's topic of discussion is Adaptive Immunity from Introduction to Immune System. Now, yesterday we have talked about innate immunity. You know that as the body is prone to get infected by various different kind of microorganisms surrounding to it, or there could be any kind of insect bites such as mosquito or any other insect for that matter, or probably the infection can also be due to the fungus and so on. Apart from that, there are parasitic infections also, and all these are taken care by innate immunity, the organs which are involved into innate immunity or the structures. But then there are certain drawbacks to this because this is non-specific in nature. That means a similar kind of response is shown to different kind of infection or infectious organisms like the microbes or the insects or to the fungus or to the parasites. So similar pattern of response is shown by the body to the various different kind of microorganism. Hence we call it as non-specific in nature. Moreover, this response is regulated wherein we can say that the mechanism is not very well developed. That means the magnitude of reaction to all different kinds of infection or different modes of infection remains the same. That means there is no amplification. If the infection is more, then also the same level of immunity will be shown by different cells or organism. Moreover, the cells which are present into our body, they are harmed due to lack of specificity, as they sometimes they are unable to recognize between the foreign particles and the self cells. Hence, we can say that the responses which are shown by innate immunity, they are short term and there is no development of memory for the infection. And every time the immune system needs to show the or get reactivated to show the mode of immunity, right? Therefore, what we can say is the body is always in a need to get transformed from non-immune to immune form, right? And for this, there is development of another kind of immunity. So we can say that the response which is shown by modification is tailored, and this is much more faster, specific, and at the same time the time span or the stipulated time to show the immunity is enhanced, and there is very clear discrimination between the self and non-self. So all these features, they are shown by the second form of immune response, which is called as adaptive or acquired immunity. Now, what is this acquired or adaptive immunity? It is the immunity of the person who is been treated or who gets infected by certain kind of microbes in his lifetime, or probably due to the vaccination or medication. Therefore, we can say that this adaptive or acquired immunity in a person is achieved in his lifetime. As it is not from the birth, we call it as adaptive because it is seen only when there is infection by some microorganism or there is vaccination given to a particular person in his lifetime. Thus, we can say it is adaptive or it is acquired. It is not related to any means by innate immunity, wherein we know that innate immunity is from the birth itself. There is no advancement, there is no increment in the type of immune response is shown by innate immunity. Whereas in case of acquired or adaptive immunity, because of infection or because of the different types of medicines or vaccines which a person is taking in his course of time is going to influence the type of immunity generated, right? Then this adaptive immunity can be classified into two main forms, that is active form and passive form. Now what is active form? Active form of adaptive immunity is achieved by the reaction between the microorganisms and the bodily cells. If you see the picture here, there is a pathogen which is surrounded by different types of cells, bodily cells, like the WBC. These are all granulocyte. This is monocyte, and this is again a monocyte. Or you can say there are different types of lymphocytes as well as WBCs or granulocytes. So what do they do? With the help of phagocytic action, they knock down the effect of pathogen. So here the bodily cells are involved in imparting immunity. So we can say it is a type of active immunity, right? Now this active immunity further can be classified as natural or it can be classified as artificial. So you may wonder, if the bodily cells are involved into this, then why am I calling it as an adaptive immunity? Because just now, as I said, that adaptive immunity is achieved in the course of lifetime, and this is only when the organism, that is the individual, will get infected by certain microorganisms by natural means, or there is injection of certain kind of vaccine forcibly into the body, or due to certain kind of doses, or due to certain kind of medicines. So here the first means what we are discussing is the bodily cells. They are showing their action only when the microorganism for the first time invades the host body. Therefore, we can say it is a part of adaptive immunity, and as the natural bodily cells, they are involved in imparting immunity, we can call it as an active immunity, right? In the same way, in the second diagram you can see, second picture you can see, the pathogen is once again knocked down, but here there is no involvement of the bodily cell, but there is immunity developed because of the injection of certain kind of component into the body. And as it is artificially injected or it is been provided from the outer side into the body, we can say that it is a part of passive immunity. Hence, we can call the adaptive immunity as active and passive by observing the different types of cells or actions shown by the body, right? Both active and passive immunity, they can be classified into natural and artificial form. Now we are going to study them in detail. Now let us begin with active immunity. Active immunity, as I said, is seen only when some microorganism is seen infecting into the host body. So let us consider the natural active immunity into organism. So this natural active immunity, it develops only when an microorganism will be seen entering into the host body accidentally or due to some other reasons as such, as a result of which the antigenic stimulation is observed. Antigenic stimulation is observed in the sense because of presence of antigen into the body. What is antigen here? Any microorganism. It could be virus, it could be bacteria, it could be fungal particle, it could be any parasite for that matter. And all these foreign particles, they will be invaded by the bodily cell. That means the host immune system will get activated. It gets activated only in presence of any foreign particle which has invaded the host, that is the human body. Now, once the host immune system is activated, what exactly it does is whatever immunocompetent cells are present, they get activated. So, what are the immunocompetent cells? It could be T cells, B cells, macrophages, plasma cells, and so on. So, if I consider plasma cell here, then the plasma cells will start secreting the secretion which is called as antibody, whereas T cells, macrophages, dendritic cells, they will bring about the phagocytic action. So wherever there is phagocytic action, we can say it will give rise to cellular type of immunity or cellular immunity or cell mediated immunity. Whereas if there is involvement of synthesis of antibodies due to stimulation of the plasma cells by foreign particle, then we call it as humoral type of immunity. So when do we have these two different types? It is only when there is activation of host immune system. And what is important for activation is there has to be infection. If there is no infection, then active immunity will not come into existence, right? Then there are certain characteristic features for the development of this active immunity. So what are those? It is like this development of active immunity, it shows the lag and log phase during the infection. So what is lag phase and log phase? Lag phase is the initial phase when the organism I mean the microorganism has made its entry. In that condition, the amount of immunity shown by the individual will be very less. Now, the reason why it will show very less or low immune property is that time the amount of cells which are activated will be very less, and obviously there will be less amount of antibody. Hence, we can say that the measurable amount of immunity in this lag phase will be minimal or it will be lower, and this phase is called as the negative phase. So the important aspect of active immunity is it will show negative phase into its course of time. In the same way, this negative phase of measurable immunity gets transformed into the positive phase when the number of antigens, they increases. Now what is antigen? Antigen means the microorganism. Because the microorganism has entered into the body, it has settled itself and it has overcome the action of all the host immune cells, it starts multiplying. And because it starts multiplying, their number increases. So when their number increases, obviously we can say the activation of immunocompetent cell will also get activated. Hence, we can say that it will enter into the positive phase. Now, what is positive phase here? Wherein the initial measurable immunity was very less. It was in negative phase. Now, it will get transformed into the positive phase. And upon activation, there is a stagnant phase wherein sufficient quantity of the cells they have transformed, they will participate in knocking down the microorganism or start producing the antibodies, and at the same time some of the cells, that is if I say the B cells, will get transformed into some of the memory cells, and those memory cells, they will be seen circulating throughout the body. As a result, we can say that there will be development of memory. And so, Once the memory is developed, and if the same organism, the same type of pathogen enters into the host body for the second time, in that condition, there will be secondary responses shown by the host body in the form of cellular and humoral immunity immediately. So, these are certain important features of the active immunity. Now we'll see the natural immunity, because active immunity gets classified into natural and artificial. So let us talk about the natural form of immunity. So natural form refers to whenever the infection into the host body is by the nature. That means it could be an clinical infection or it could be a non-clinical infection. That means probably in the surrounding, whatever microorganisms are present, even they can bring about development of infection into the host. So clinical, as you know, most of the time the infections are seen in ICU. The secondary infections, they are seen into ICU. They are clinical infections, whereas inapparent infection is outside the hospital. Whatever infections we get across, those are inapparent infections. So, because these are being invading the host body by the natural means, we call them as active form of infection. Again, there is an interesting feature. If I talk about the viral infections, in this condition, these viral infections, they will get, their infection will lead to development of getting the natural immunity for a longer period. That means there will not be the same viral infection showing development of disease repeatedly upon its encounter with the same host body. Whereas this is not same with reference to bacterial infection. The best example I can quote, you all know that diarrhea, it is caused due to bacterial infection, right? Or you can say, yeah, bacterial infection. Whereas, or influenza virus, you can say, influenza virus also, it keeps repeating throughout the life cycle of individual. Whereas, if the smallpox, what we have discussed long back in the first or second lecture, I suppose, wherein I said that those milkmaids who came across the cowpox infection, or the person who has been undergone the infection from the smallpox in his lifetime, he will not get the second time same type of infection. So that is because these viral infections, they are long lasting. Further, then what we can say, the active infection is premonition. Premonition refers to reinfestations which last the original infection remains active. Example is syphilis. Then the second form of acquired passive immunity belonging to natural form. This is passive because here the host, if I consider, is not playing a major role. He is getting the ready-made immunity from the mother. Now here in the picture, what you can say, she is a pregnant lady, and in the womb of the pregnant lady, the fetus will get protected by large number of antibodies which are circulating into the fetal circulation through the maternal circulation. So, we can say it is a type of passive immunity. In the same way, the colostrum, the first milk after the parturition, which contains large amount of antibodies, it imparts protection in the early phase of the infant. That's the reason doctors advise to feed the colostrum to the infant immediately after the process of parturition, that is after the delivery. So, this kind of passive immunity is seen in it will become independent. Now this is dependent because it has been acquired, it has been gained from the mother, and this type of immunological independence will be seen set up into the fetus after 3 to 6 months, because that time the cells will get activated into the infant body and they will start showing their response against the infections. Whereas till initial 6 months, all the fetal circulation will contain maternal antibodies either into the blood or through the mother's milk. In the same way, we can say that during pregnancy, whatever immunization is given to the mother in the form of vaccine, it helps in improving the passive immunity of the infant. Example, there are large number of uh, tetanus prone communities wherein tetanus injections are provided. Tetanus vaccines are provided to the pregnant women. Now, coming to the second part of acquired immunity, that is artificial immunity. As the name suggests, artificial, it is not from the natural cause. That is, either it is not from the microbial infection or it is not from any clinical or inapparent infection. Rather, it is induced into the body through the vaccines. So, this is a stimulated type of response which is enforced into the body through the vaccines. And you know that vaccines, they are actually containing the live or killed microorganisms. Now, this type of immune response which is enforced into the body, it forms an acquired artificial form of immunity, or it gives acquired artificial immunity to the host, that is to the human. Again, this acquired artificial immunity can be classified into active and passive. Now, what is active acquired artificial immunity? This is seen mainly because of introduction of live virus into the body of host through vaccine. Moreover, the important features of this type of immunity is it is long lasting. There is requirement of booster doses. The best example is polio vaccine. You must be familiar with the fact that the polio vaccine initially is given and then there are booster doses, right? So this will help in development of artificial acquired immunity. In the same way, the second aspect of acquired artificial immunity is the passive form. Now, as passive, I have already said that it is not from the natural means. Therefore, here also we can say either the killed microorganism or ready-made antibodies, they are injected into the body of host, and it is totally opposite to active acquired immunity, wherein we can say that the response is short term, and as a result it's not the booster dose, I should say, but repeated doses are required. Now, what is difference between the booster dose and the repeated dose? Booster dose is given for a short span of time. Say, for example, nearly initial 5 to 10 years. Whereas repeated doses, they are seen given throughout the life cycle of individual, right? So that is the main difference between the booster dose and the short-term dose. Now, there are certain characteristic features of this artificial passive immunity. That is, as I said, we can administrate the antibodies. Now, how do these antibodies are achieved or they are formed? It is produced from hyperimmune sera, or it is formed or generated from hyperimmune globulins or convalescent sera or pooled gamma globulins, which are the artificially originated antibodies. Moreover, the treatment is given even into the non-immune response people, and so it is much more beneficial. Further, this artificial passive immunity, it confirms immediate as well as temporary protection, and at the same time there is suppression of active immunity observed in certain cases. The best example is erythroplastosis fetalis. Now, what is erythroplastosis fetalis? It is hemolytic anemia, wherein that the Rh factor of mother as well as the fetus, they are opposite. For example, if the mother is Rh positive, sorry, Rh negative, and the first child is Rh positive, then this Rh positive blood cells, because the baby is into the womb of mother, there is mixing of this Rh positive globulin factors into the maternal circulation, and they will develop antibodies. And suppose the second child, if the lady goes for the second, if she takes the second chance, and therein once again there is a positive um, infant, then it will bring about the antigens which will break the RBCs, and that will lead to hemolytic anemia, which is a dangerous condition, right? This we shall study in detail in later courses. Thank you.